for the deep partnership of this community with that university. We are making progress, we are thriving, and it's being seen and recognized, rightfully so. But while UM is thriving, I think it's important that we acknowledge the broader national context. It affects our university, it affects our community. As you well know, federal support for education, especially in the fields of research, but extending more broadly, we're seeing threats to that. We're seeing reductions, and those trends are troubling, not just for UM, but for our entire community. Our economy is, of course, buoyed in part, just as our county's coffers are, our research impact and the economic impact that those have on our community depend on federal research dollars. And so we're working closely with our federal delegation to do everything we can to protect the grants we already have, while at the same time doing some scenario planning to prepare for reductions in the future. Because make no mistake, cuts to federal funding for Montana universities are going to have an outsized impact on Montanans. We're going to see, we have already seen job loss. We're going to see the loss of support for outreach activities, important outreach activities, such as public health, fire management, drought and water prediction, K through 12 engagement. In fact, our very own Spectrum, based right here in the Missoula Library, has already suffered cuts to their federal grants. At the same time, we're seeing a continued decline in confidence in higher education. The percentage of American high school graduates that go on to education, either 2-year or 4-year, has declined by nearly 10% since 2016. And Montana is seeing very concerning trends that are even more extreme. So we're on the brink of seeing, really for the first time in our country's history, a generation of Americans who will come into adulthood with less education and training than the generation before them. As a former business executive, I'm deeply concerned about the consequences of these falling rates of educational attainment and federal investment. As a former Special Forces officer in the Army, I'm also concerned for our national security. As you think about our competitors on the global stage, whether it be China or India, name your country, these countries are all working feverishly to build the system of higher education that we were blessed to inherit in this country, while we're falling behind, while we're attacking that same system. That is concerning. But we can't sit idly by. We have to face these challenges head on, and we have to do all that we can to build a prosperous and inclusive community and nation for our children and grandchildren. So at UM, that means doubling down on our mission, which, as many of you know, we like to summarize in just 2 words: inclusive prosperity. You know, our job, simply put, is to ensure that every single member of our community, regardless of where you come from, who your parents were, what political party you're a part of, who you love, what you look like, how much money you have, everyone ought to have the opportunity to reach their full potential. At UM, we proudly reject the notion that somehow quality is measured by exclusivity. We're committed to providing a world-class education that is broadly accessible to anybody who's willing to show up and work hard.